Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another EverQuest Legends class overview. I'm doing the wizard on this video, and what I like to do in these is give a brief overview of their strengths and some spells and abilities that they're bringing to the table, as well as talk about some things to consider when you're picking the wizard in your trio. And also I like to do some of the classes that I think go well with them, that they fit into well with the trio. So getting started here on the wizard, they have all of the stances and invocations that I list here. They've got the channeler stance, and for invocations they're going to have arcane mastery, empowering, inviolable, inversion, overchannel, and recovery. So as far as the strengths that they're bringing to the table, wizards are going to have really huge nukes like Ice Comet and Rend and stuff like that that are really helpful. They also get this mana detonation spell line that specifically, it says it knocks the enemy back and yourself back, but it's incredibly hard to resist. So if you're going up against an enemy with a really high resistance, the mana detonation line is awesome to make sure that that damage is landing. So they also have their familiar that's going to be augmenting them with some buffs that give them like more resistances and lower fizzle rates and stuff like that. It's a non-combat familiar, so it's not going to take aggro, it's not going to do damage, it's just going to help buff you as the wizard. The claim to fame here for wizards is their ports. They have lots of ways to teleport across all of the world, and what is really awesome is they have ports to go into things like Plane of Hate and Plane of Fear and stuff like that, so they're able to port into these places. You can, when you get to the higher levels, you're able to bring your party with you. Really handy way to get around everywhere. They also have the ability to do their evacuations, so same idea with the ways to escape combat. They're not going to have like the feigned deaths and stuff like that, but they do have a way to get themselves to a safe area. You can pop a version and cast the spell really fast. So I really appreciate everybody in the comments of the other videos pointing out that those do really effectively work as an escape if you need to. So things I would consider when I'm looking at the wizard class is that they don't have a way to sustain their health. They do have some ways to regenerate mana, but they have a long cooldown and they stun yourself, so the sustain department on the wizards are not the strongest. They also don't have a way to slow the enemy's attack rate, so they're going to, if they're face tanking a mob, it's going to be doing a lot of damage because they're not slowed. Same idea. So you want to augment something that can take a hit typically. They also don't have the Tash or Melo lines of spells to help shred the resistances on the enemy. Some of their spells do have baked in ways to lower some resistances to like cold or fire or whatever, but having those spell lines as well will help them land more spells in the long run without having to run overchannel all the time. Another thing to talk about are the cooldowns on their AoEs. So they do have really strong AoE damage, but they also have a cooldown on there, so that's something I'm looking to augment the class with if I was going for a class that does huge damage, wants to be a big nuker. Slotting in something like that really helps. So on those train of thought, things that I think really help the wizard out a lot are going to be classes that help them with their sustains and stuff like that. So either like a healer, like something like a shaman, I think works out great because you're able to drop the Melo on them, you're able to heal yourself, you're able to slow the enemy. That's a really nice synergy there on everything. Another one like and the shamans are going to give them the cannibalize for mana. So I think the same idea applies to an enchanter, where they're able to give themselves clarity, they're able to do the theft of thought on the enemy to give themselves some more mana, they're able to slow them and stuff like that. I think that's a really huge help. Going into the same idea would be like a bard. I think the bard and the wizard actually synergize really well, because the bard has their mana regen songs that are going to help them keep their mana going. They have some songs that help increase the amount of magic damage that they're going to be able to do. The wizard has access to some AAs that increase their crits for spell damage and stuff. That's really awesome to have in there. So having the bard is a nice mix, because the bards have the Denon's Triple D spell line that does an AoE hit that does take a lot of mana but does do a lot of damage as well. So if you had something like a wizard in there, the wizards have the really strong single targets, and they can help augment in some extra AoE damage with their cooldowns, where the bard might be able to spam the Triple D spell and punch out huge numbers. So the two of them together, you're getting good mana regen, you're getting good single target damage, you're getting good AoE damage. I like the idea of mixing those in together. Other things to stand out would be like the tanky classes, like specifically I would say a Shadow Knight is cool because it's an int-based caster, and when you're looking at the stances, the wizards have this arcane mastery, so having a Shadow Knight and a wizard is going to make the arcane mastery even reduce a spell cast time even further and give you even more efficient mana ratios, because it's reducing your mana cost. So stuff like that I think is great. Having somebody that's tanky, the Shadow Knight has like those life tap heals to try to help sustain them. I think something like that is interesting. You can skin wizards a lot of different ways and give them lots of combinations that make them really strong, so adding that in there. But typically when I was playing, what I found was the biggest thing is when they run out of mana, you're going to want some sort of a way to continue the fight or get that mana back, like a cannibalize or something. So I really hope that this helps, and let me know in the comments what trios you're planning on using. Thank you for all the support on the videos, and I have the playlist here for the other classes that I have done, and I really thank you for watching all the way to the end. We got the servers going live here in a little bit today, so thank you for sticking with me and enjoying this time off that we had to prepare and get back into the game stronger, better, faster. Y'all have a great one. Later.